Architectural Builders Supply is pleased to present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
Yes, I can.
I think I think he just sent an email so that we all could see the same thing.
Okay.
Randall, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have an email, at least not yet. So I can just, explain the conflict that I'm seeing if you want.
Go right ahead.
Okay, so on the machining sheets, there is a underside of the header to the top of the strike. There's then a dimension, I think there were M and N, Mike in November, showing what would be the center line of the strike. And then there's a dimension for the height of the strike, which may be 5 inch, but we know it's 4 7/8. So if you take the center line and you subtract half of that, you don't get to the dimension that's the underside of the header to the top of the strike prep. And a reasonable explanation is because you folks aren't measuring to the center line of the strike prep. You're measuring to the center line of a hole that's in the strike. And that would explain, about a 3/4 inch or so difference between where the locks need to be and where they were. So
also there's also a problem, and I'm not sure if this is the reason, but our strike plate, the center line of the strike isn't directly in the middle of that. So subtracting half wouldn't give you the middle of the strike plate.
What is your point of reference? Where are you referencing when you measure the strike?
So we have two different measurements. We have one from the top of the door, and then we have one that is from the bottom of the frame to the center of the strike plate on the frame, not on the door.
From the bottom of the frame?
I'm sorry, from the bottom of the header.
Underside of the header, yes.
Yeah, from the underside of the header, to where the hole is one measurement, and then we also took a measurement from the top of the door to the center of the strike. But what I'm saying is, our strike plate, the strike isn't in the middle. It's not directly in the middle. It's about 3/4 down.
The strike isn't in the middle, or the hole that's in the strike isn't in the middle?
So the strike plate that's on the door, that the handle and the lock that's in on the door, not on the frame, but on the door. That's not directly in the middle.
You're talking about the latch bolt that's in the edge of the door.
Right.
Okay. So, yeah, we don't know. It is not important to know where that latch bolt is at all. But the dimensions, and I don't know what that dimension is because I have the frame worksheet, the completed frame worksheet. So our dimension N, underside of the header to the center line of the strike, is 44 1/16. And if I took half of the strike height, I should get the M dimension, which is the underside of the header to the top of the strike. But I'm not getting that. I'm getting something other than that. Where are you measuring to when you are looking for the N dimension, underside of the header to the center of the strike? Where are you actually measuring to?
So did you get the email, Rich?
Oh, I did, yes. Let me pull that
All
up.
right.
I'm looking at the stuff from last, the two completed machining sheets.
Yeah, look at
Yeah, this is what I'm looking at. Yes, sir. I have these. I have all.
All right. So,
okay.
yeah, I just resent them. I'm sure I've sent these to you before. So,
okay.
If you look at the strike plate that's on the frame of the door, that measurement, the top of that measurement, the part that you don't see, is from the bottom of the header.
Right.
And then the center of, now you're saying the measurement to the center of that hole isn't the right measurement.
What I'm saying is one would not measure the underside of the header to the center of a hole in a strike plate, because lock manufacturers put those holes in different locations. Sometimes you have two holes. So the only way to make it universal is you don't bother with where that hole is. You know the underside of the header to the top of the prep is 41 1/4. You would then take half of the strike height, which you know is 4 7/8, and that becomes your end dimension. So
Rich, look at the picture 6380. It's in the it's in what he just sent you.
Yes, sir.
The image 6380.
Yes, sir.
And then my other question is, I would think that hole is important, because when we put our hardware back into the door, we're going to use the existing hardware and replace it. That lock mechanism needs to line up with this hole that we're not taking out. This is stationary. This doesn't get changed.
Right, and
the strike plate doesn't.
But the lock doesn't change either.
No. So look at that lock. You see the mortise lock, and it's inserted in, and this is a new door that fits. You know, and when you see that the top of the lock is at 40 inches. You see that on the picture of 6380, the image?
I definitely have it, yes.
And then you come down and you look at what you refer to that as the lock, and it's at the latch is at 45 or a little bit, about 45. You see that?
Yeah, whatever it is, 44 3/4, whatever that is. Sure. I don't know what it is, but yes.
Yeah. So that door fits into that frame perfectly, just like it is now with that lock right there. So what measurement? I mean, the frame's going to remain the same. We can't change the frame, and we can't change the strike plates. You sent us new strike plates, but those strike plates, we would have to cut the frame and do some other stuff and welding to put those strike plates in.
I don't think I supplied you locks at all.
Well, the strike plate that goes into the frame, right? I think they came with it.
I don't think I sold you. I didn't sell you any lock parts.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they came in one of the boxes or not, but I remember seeing a plate, and I went to put it in. I said, that's not going to work. So we used all the original stuff. So all the original, except the hinges, which were new. We used all that. We used all original. But this dimension here, can we get what we need from just looking at this photo, or no?
The answer is I can make an extremely accurate determination on where the strike location is on the frame based on that 40-inch top of door to the top of the mortise pocket. In fact, I wouldn't need to know anything else.
Right.
But the reality is, when we follow the formula to determine the center line of the strike prep in the frame, it will reveal to us that the door measurement worksheets have errors on them. The end dimension is wrong, is the bottom line, because the formula is top of the door to the center of the lock pocket is 44-inch, or top of the door to the top is 40, plus half of the lock pocket, which is, it's an 8-inch pocket, so it's 44-inch. To that dimension, you're going to deduct a 1/4 inch, And where I'm getting that from is from every template, from every mortise lock manufacturer. That's going to then tell us that the center line of that is going to be at 43 3/4 inch. So 43 3/4 minus half of 4 7/8 is going to tell us 41 5/16. And your M dimension is 41 1/4. And we know that 40 inch isn't correct, that it should actually be 39 9/16. But that explains the 16th. But it also explains when you're measuring for the end dimension, where are you measuring to? It's to the center of the hole that's in the strike, and that's where the root error occurred. It's the reference point on the jam.
What we should be measuring is to the top of that, and not at the center of that hole. Is at the top of the hole, because that's closer to.
You completely ignore the holes in the hardware.
All right, take a look. You're saying the center line should be 43 3/4, but and you're saying that the hole doesn't matter, but we need the holes to line up. That's all that matters to us.
But you luckily don't have to worry about that, because you've got a lock and a mated strike that make all that math work together. We can work it in reverse. We can work it, we know that 41 1/4 is accurate. Underside of the header to the top of the strike. And what we want to do is find out where the lock prep is. So 41 1/4.
Okay, so I get what you're saying. The 43, and it looks like 3/4 is half of the center line of that strike plate. But
that's right.
It's not the center line of the hole. And we measured. I get what you're saying. We measured to the center line of the hole instead of measuring to the center of the strike plate.
That's right.
Yeah, and the hole doesn't matter.
The hole doesn't matter. If you had a deadbolt function, the question would be, well, which hole did you measure to? So
I get what you're saying. So that measurement needs to be 43 3/4.
Absolutely.
It looks like, but it almost looks like it should be 43 1/2. But
no, take a look at image. Can you guys do me a favor? I'm following
5386. That's the image I'm looking at.
Yeah, take a look at 6380 real quick.
Yeah, so that's perfect. So 6386, you got 41 1/4. To that, add half of the distance of the height of the strike. That's the center line of the strike. And therefore it's 43 11/16 is the correct dimension. And then from that we add a 1/4 inch, because now we're working in reverse. And then that brings us to 43 15/16. You take 4 inch off of that, because half of the lock pocket on the door, you're now at 39 15/16. And that's exactly where you should be for 41 1/4.
Okay. So do we need to change anything, or can you just go from there?
Yes to the latter. And all I'm saying is we know where the lock needs to be, but the end dimension, is the problem on the machining sheets. So we would just correct that to, so that's all there is to that.
So all right.
Now,
if we know what to do, let's just go ahead and order.
Yeah. Well, I have to get a quote first, because I don't know what the price is, but let me look at these. So what I do not know is on 227, we're going to follow the same width that we did last time on these doors, because that apparently all worked out great at 45 13/16. What I don't know is what net height the door should be. So on 227, we've got a C dimension, or an inside frame height, of 83 3/4. Sorry. And we've got a 0 dimension for our O threshold height. So that would tell me the door needs to be 83 5/8, because we got an 1/8 inch at the header. But the question becomes is, how much, what's the clearance? What should be the bottom of the door to the...
that was a problem we had last time. We got the doors back, and the thresholds were off. We said that they should be 5/8, and we ended up getting 1 inch and 3. They were 5/8 too long, actually.
Too long?
We said 5/8, and they came out to be 11/16.
That's only 1/16.
Not 11/16. It was 5/8 too long.
1/16 or something. Yeah. Okay, I got it.
Right, something like that.
Yeah. So what I do need to know though is how much of a clearance there needs to be. How much room from the bottom of the door to the top of the floor? And it seems to me that that your floor goes right underneath that jamb. So
yeah, and what we planned on doing is just cutting the extra off because the floor isn't straight. The last email that I sent you, let me see what day that email was. Yeah, the email I sent you on 1/4. It basically says that the floors were too long. I mean, the thresholds were too long. I got back 1 5/16 and 1 3/16, which is about, it was 9/16 and 11/16, so within a 16th of 5/8 too long.
Mm-hmm.
And basically the bottom of that floor isn't flat. We would like for the bottom of that door to be 5/8. Our max that it can be is 3/4 of an inch, but 5/8 is what we ordered the first time, and we got back something different. So instead of giving you one thing and it not fitting because of the slope of the floor, or that they were just cut a little bit too much, we were just going to cut it on site to make it fit.
Okay. So the question becomes is what net height should door 227 be?
So the opening is 83, and the opening height is 83 1/4, and you have to take 5/8 off the
83 3/4 is what I have on the sheet.
Okay, yeah, you're right. I'm looking at 211. So yeah, we're just gonna take 5/8 off of that. So 83 and whatever. I'm not sure exactly what that is off the top of my head.
Okay, it's 83 1/8. Do I just make it 83 1/8, or do I take off 1/8 for the header? Because if I don't, then that will only leave you with a 1/2 inch.
At the top or at the bottom?
At the bottom.
That's fine. That's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as it's less than 3/4, I don't care. If it's not touching the ground and it's less than 3/4, I'm good with that.
Okay, so looking at 211, then our dimension's going to. Looking at 211, then our dimension's going to be 82 5/8, because we're going to take off of 83 1/4. We're going to take off 5/8 of an inch. So 83 1/4 minus 5/8, 83.25 minus 0.6825 is 82.
I believe I set the threshold to 0 on that one as well. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah, 82.625. Yeah, 82 5/8 is the net height of 211, and that will allow you an 1/8 inch at the top, which you have to have, and then a 1/2 inch from the bottom of the door to what would be probably the bottom of the jamb or the top of the floor.
That's perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So what I need to do now is get a quote from the factory, have them price those doors, because as you now know, fire doors, they have a perimeter around them of all that funny stuff, and they've got to build the doors to that size. They can't just make it 84 inch and then cut them. So I'll get that quote and I'll send it to you.
Okay.
And that's what we'll do. I've got the hardware. I've got the hinge locations, and we sure know where to put the lock. That's all there is to it.
All right.
Cool. All right, I will do it, and I will send an email. I know the factory is running behind with blah, 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 this and that, vacations and COVIDs, but they are working on quotes, and I'll get it over to you as soon as I can.
All right.
Okay, great.
Oh, thank you, sirs. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Sure.
Architectural Builders Supply hopes you have enjoyed this program. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.